Hello, I'm Samita, a career skill wizard. I'm on a mission to help 1 lakh students to achieve their career skills. I have been in this journey in the field of education for more than 15 years. And in these interviews, I'll be talking to principals, successful students, and industry experts to find out what are those skills which are essential to achieve success. Do hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. If you want to be notified whenever I upload a video, do hit that bell icon. In the comment section, let me know what are the questions that you would like me to ask my guests. Hello and welcome. This is another episode and an interesting. And I have with me Dr. Yash Kashikar. Yes, right. It's Dr. Yash Kashikar. And he with cricket? Okay, let's dive deep to find out why this doctor is on YouTube doing beautiful articles on sports, mainly on cricket. His love for cricket, his passion of becoming a doctor. And today, let's learn what were the skills that he has taken into both these fields. Welcome, Yash.
Thank you so much for having me on your show, ma'am. Because it's usually I am on this side, which you are doing today. So it feels good to be on the other side as well, and I'm excited for it.
So, Yash, let us start your story with 10th standard. You were a good student and you finished your 10th. So, the next option for you was science.
Yes,
What did you have in your mind when you were taking science in 12th? What did you want to do?
uh, ma'am. My journey after 10th standard is somewhat more or less a connection, or more or less a continuation of what I did during my school days, or what I love doing. I mean, what I love doing while growing up.
Mhm,
So what made me choose science was the fact, I'll be very honest, I was terrible at maths.
mhm,
I never really liked it, but
mhm,
so maths was never really an option. And again, doing the conventional things in India, picking up biology was the only thing which I had in my mind.
mhm.
And with biology I was fine. I was good at it. So I said, let's go with science, and so that's why I went on with PCB.
Okay. So, you finished your 12th and then medical happened.
Yes.
You wanted to become a doctor? Are there people in your family who are doctors, so you were inspired? Or since you had taken biology, you wanted to become a doctor?
Honestly, I'm the first doctor in my family, so there was no one as such whom I looked up to be a doctor.
Mhm,
But yes, I mean, honestly, I wanted to become a sports presenter or commentator as a
mhm,
child itself, but there was no specific roadmap as to how I can become one, and
mhm.
therefore I never really took it seriously. And as I said, I was good at biology, so biology, and then eventually medicine happened.
So, if I tell you today, if you were in 10th standard, would you look back and
Yeah.
choose something different?
Yes, I will definitely.
Something different, something more according to your passion or something which you want to
Yes.
go with.
Yes.
So, you enrolled yourself into the conventional field of medicine. What was going
Yes.
through your head at that time? What did you expect medicine to be? What did you expect becoming a doctor would be? And what actually happened?
Ma'am, first and foremost, I think it's an honor, it's a privilege to be a doctor, because if you see, even in this times, unprecedented times, 16 lakh students, they appeared for the undergraduate NEET examination, and
Mhm,
only about 70 to 80,000 students will eventually go on to get admission in the medical college. So
mhm,
there is no doubt to this that I am happy and I'm proud of the fact that I've become a doctor.
mhm.
So while entering a medical college, I mean, at that point in time, I never really thought that there will be a twist in the tail, and I would eventually also delve into this field of sports broadcast. So at that point, my vision was pretty clear that, I'll do MBBS and then go on to do post-graduation in a specific subject and then take the things forward. But, never say never, as they say. So life, it just put around a tail, it just put around a twist in front of me. And now this is how things have eventually turned up.
Okay. So school is a place where everyone plays, and
Right.
y'all definitely you played a lot. And I think so the sports period was one of the best periods that you all had. You all would look
Definitely.
forward for that sports period. And even during that short break that you all had, you were all out in the field playing. Now,
Yes.
once you were in plus two, that came down a little because there was that conventional sense of you need to study, get into some place. And finally, you went into medical field. So where
Yeah.
did this sports come? Which year? And how did you stumble upon this?
Exactly. And that is why I said in the beginning that my journey after 10th standard, or precisely after 12th standard, is basically a continuation of what I did during my school days or what I loved doing while growing up. Now,
Mm-hmm.
there are two important aspects to it. First is sports. And as I said, growing up in India, cricket was not merely a sport for me, but it was an integral part of my life and times.
Mm-hmm.
So I was extremely passionate for the game, and I wanted to become a cricketer growing up. And
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a huge fan of Rahul Dravid. But when I started playing, sooner I realized that probably I did not have what it took to play at the highest level of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But that did not reduce my passion for the game one bit whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, as you talked about, we used to play a lot during school days. So
Mm-hmm.
even while we were playing cricket in game spirit or in break, while I was fielding, I was always commentating. I was always
Mm-hmm.
talking about the proceedings. So I
Yes.
was always connected with the game.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, I was always attracted towards the art of public speaking. So whether it was anchoring in different cultural events, or participating
Mm-hmm.
in debate and elocution competitions, or
Mm-hmm.
participating in the activities which we had during the morning assembly, like
Mm-hmm.
reading out news or the pledge, I was actively involved in it.
Yes.
So these are the two most important aspects, sports and stage.
Mm-hmm.
So effectively, if you see, as a youngster, my life revolved around sports and stage. And that
Mm-hmm.
is why I precisely wanted to do something that kept me connected to it. So
So, mm-hmm.
quite invariably, my inclination towards sports media was always there. But then, as I said, there wasn't any specific roadmap, and probably I was not even very serious at that point in time. It was a dream, but it was just a dream in the dreamy land. It was just a fairy tale for me that I want to become a commentator, but I was not actually taking any specific efforts towards it. So, as I talked about the twist in the tail,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
can I tell that story to you in
Yeah,
short?
sure,
I'll tell that to
sure,
you.
sure.
Yeah.
We are
So
eager
I
to
wasn't.
hear about a doctor who is pursuing seriously your anatomy physiology. Suddenly, how did you land up in the cricketing arena?
Yes. So this happened in second year while I was studying pathology, microbiology, and forensic medicine and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So our preliminary examinations were going on, and I was sitting in the library studying. And suddenly, I got a message on my phone from one of a very close school friend of mine
Mm-hmm.
about this competition called as ESPN Crick Info Crick Jockey. So
Okay.
basically, Crick Info was looking for the next cricket presenter or cricket commentator or something on those
Mm-hmm.
lines.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, bhai, ye competition, I think this is made for you. So why
Mm-hmm.
don't you apply for it? But at that point in time, I'll be very honest, I seriously lacked self-belief. I had a
Mm-hmm.
lot of doubts, I was not sure whether I was good enough for that or whether I was good enough for anything for that matter. So
Mm-hmm.
I said him, I don't think I can do this. So
Mm-hmm.
he just kept on insisting me. He said, no, I think this is made for you. Why don't you just apply? Let's see what happens. I
Mm-hmm.
said, because he upload and written piece of my commentary on their website.
Mm-hmm.
I did that and then completely forgot about it.
Okay.
So a week later, after I was coming out of my practical exam, again I get a phone call, and this time it was from ESPN, and
Oh,
the guy on the other side was like, you had participated in this competition and you've been selected in the top 25, and
okay.
we have a studio round happening in a couple of days time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are selected in the top 8 after top 25, if you are selected in the top 8, are you available for it? So I mean, it took for me, just for that feeling to sink in, because my examinations were also going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why and I don't know how, in a split second I said yes, I'm available for it. I actually wasn't, because my exams were scheduled to be held the very next day itself.
Mm-hmm.
So but I said yes to him, and then
Mm-hmm.
eventually I made it to the top 8 as well. Went to Mumbai, flew to Mumbai for the studio round.
Okay.
But as I said, I lacked self-belief at that point in time. So even while I was preparing for the studio round, a night prior to that competition actually in Mumbai, I kept on telling myself that I don't belong here. I just told myself that probably all those guys who are coming here are or might be from journalism background, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
from medicine. So what will I do here? What if I
Okay.
fumble? What if I look stupid?
Here,
And
here I'll put in a question.
yeah,
Right from the beginning till your school and life, you were in a very small town. Did it
yes.
somewhere, go on in your mind that I'm from a very small place and others who are coming might be from a better background and they have the ability to speak better than me? Did you have that thought running in your mind at some point of your time?
Honestly, ma'am, that thought was not there, that I'm coming from a small place as compared to the
Mm-hmm.
other people.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, somewhere down the line, there was a lack of self belief. I don't know what was
Mm-hmm.
the exact reason to it. Probably the
Mm-hmm.
things which were happening around me at that point in time, which I don't even remember right now exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It
But
just bogged me down.
mm-hmm.
And but this thought was not there, that I'm coming from a small town as such.
Mm-hmm. So I should be feeling proud as an English teacher, okay? Because being in a small place also, you could go out and feel that, yes, I do speak well. Okay,
Yeah,
self-belief is another thing altogether, but you could go and compete. Yeah, definitely. When we
yes.
heard that you had gone and competed and had been there, it was definitely a proud moment for us. So you went for
Thank
the
you, ma'am.
studio round. You went for the
Yeah.
studio round, and then what happened?
So, as I said, I was very nervous, lacked self belief. So, I
Mm-hmm.
over prepared
Mm-hmm.
for the studio round. And honestly, I mean, I don't know if others realized it. I personally feel I messed it up around there.
Okay.
And the very moment I finished my interview in that studio round, I knew it
Mm-hmm.
for a matter of fact that I won't be selected for the next round. There was a top 3,
Okay.
because I knew I could have done a lot better. I knew cricket very. I mean, I know cricket very well, so I
Mm-hmm.
know I could have. I knew I could have done a lot better than what I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I was unhappy with myself, and
Mm-hmm.
somewhere down the line, because of the lack of confidence, I over prepared and messed it up.
Okay. So did you get any position there?
I was in the top 8. They did not. They just selected top 3 among those. They did not tell the
Okay.
other positions.
Okay. Okay. You were there in the top eight. Okay. Then
Yes.
you came back and your life again revolved around your studies? Or somewhere down, was it going on in your mind that I need to give this a shot?
No, ma'am. It just completely changed after that particular day. I still remember it was 21st of October 2016. I still
Mm-hmm.
have that boarding pass of the Air India flight to Mumbai, which I've kept with myself, to remember how it turned around.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, After I came back, I started introspecting, because it took a bit for me, just to realize, just for all the things to sink in as to what had happened over the last few days.
Mm-hmm.
And when it eventually did, when I started introspecting, I suddenly remembered that these guys had told me that this competition had garnered more than 26,000 entries from the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, if I was among the top 8 in those 26,000 entries,
Mm-hmm.
probably I was giving a wrong message to myself, saying that I'm not good enough to be there. I
Yeah.
was.
Mm-hmm. True.
I was.
True.
And
Mm-hmm.
and that is when I also realized that this particular dream of mine, which was always there but somehow had taken a back seat,
Mm-hmm.
it just came up once again. And I said, okay, let me do one thing. I'm not going to leave it just for the sake of, it's a dream. If it happens, it happens. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to give it a try now. So let's
Okay.
do something for it.
Mm-hmm. So
So that is how it started.
mhm. Now here I'll ask you. Now, what was your mother's reaction? Like, did she support you? Was she very surprised that suddenly you had got such an offer? Because I'm very sure you must not have told her that you have applied also for this competition.
Hmm.
Did you tell
Uh,
her?
Ma'am, I did tell her that I was going to upload my commentary, but at that
Mm-hmm.
point in time, none of us were serious. Like none of us thought that yeah, aisa koi competition may I would even make it to the next round or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
none of us took it seriously. As I said, I applied for it and I completely forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I did tell her about it, but to be honest, and I'm extremely lucky and fortunate enough, to have such a great family. My mother has been extremely supportive of the fact that I have been balancing sports broadcast alongside medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Never ever has she said me, Ki, what are you doing? You are a medical student. You shouldn't do this. Study.
Mm-hmm.
She has never ever said this, and that is the precise reason why I feel I've been able to balance
Both
both
of it.
academics as well as my passion.
Yeah, your mother loves you too much. Whatever you do under the sun, she will be there to support you. Whatever you
Yes.
decide to do, she
Yes.
supports you. And of course, that is very, very important. If parents don't support, then it becomes a little difficult for the child to decide and to
Definitely.
do. So you thought of giving it a shot, and
Yeah.
you started your YouTube channel.
Hmm.
So what was the
Uh,
journey?
it, it did not begin exactly or precisely with the YouTube channel.
Okay,
When
how
I
did?
came back from Mumbai, I wrote an article. I wrote an
Mm-hmm.
article on transformation in Indian cricket from Sachin to Virat Kohli,
Okay.
and I just sent it across to one of the sports websites.
Mm-hmm.
And again, to my surprise, it got published.
Mm-hmm.
So that feeling to see a byline on that website, with written by Yash Kashikar, that was extremely special for me at that point. So
Mm-hmm.
that is how eventually things started to snowball. I
Mm-hmm.
started, then I got associated with a lot of other websites. I started freelancing for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then after 8 months after I wrote my first article,
Mm.
I got my first interview, which was basically a telephonic conversation.
Okay.
So it didn't happen in a span of few days. It happened after 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then gradually I started my YouTube channel, because over a period, you develop good professional relationships with different players and other people
Mm-hmm.
around in the industry. So then I
Mm-hmm.
started my YouTube channel, and that is how things went forward.
Okay. So here my question will be: you were doing balancing both your medical and this, your passion of becoming cricket, somewhere being associated with cricketing. First you wrote,
Hmm.
then you started having interviews, but somewhere or the other with the cricket sports, you were
Yes.
associated. Now tell
Yeah.
me, which are those skills which you will point out that was very helpful to you in both these fields? What made you, switch over to this cricketing interview so easily, even that writing part so easily?
Yes.
What was it?
Ma'am, skills, I think a big credit of writing or speaking, I think, goes to you, because whatever you
Thank
taught
you.
us in English has helped me a lot. I mean, honestly, it has helped me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember my first published article in a newspaper was in the Hitavada, and it was in ninth standard, when you had asked us to send letters to the editor.
Let
So
us
that was my
get it.
first published
Mm-hmm.
article. So
Mm-hmm.
eventually, to get my article published and to go on to do an internship at the Hitavada was indeed
Mm-hmm.
a special thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of skills in terms of writing, in terms of speaking, communication skills goes to you and all those teachers in the school.
Mm-hmm.
The morning assembly activities, as I spoke before, which we had, Das
Mm-hmm.
sir, his idea, the idea with which he came up, has helped
Mm-hmm.
me tremendously, because the very moment I went on the stage, even during my medical college days,
Mm-hmm.
it never really felt as if I was doing something new.
Mm-hmm.
I always felt as if stage was my home. So I was very
Mm-hmm.
confident on stage as well. So all those skills helped a lot. And more than the skills, ma'am, as I said, I think it has to be the support from the people around you, because even if you have the skills,
Mm-hmm.
and if your family doesn't support you, or if the
Mm-hmm.
people around you try to pull you down, your
Mm-hmm.
skills won't help you, because if they keep on telling you that you shouldn't do this, why are you doing this, you are a medical student, then I mean, no matter how badly you want to do it, you won't be able to do it.
There is that pull that is there. So
Yes.
one, you need to have a very good command over your communication. Second, you
Yes.
need to have positive people around you, even if some point of time where you are not very sure, you need to have people around you who believe in you, like your friend told you that no, go and upload that. So those
Right.
positive people, they help you. Family help you to push you
Definitely.
somewhere down where
Yes.
you are not very sure about what needs to be done. They push you, and then you take that one step, and then you take your journey forward. Now,
Yes.
question that comes to my mind: define success.
As I said, self-belief is something which didn't come naturally to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, success to me is basically over a period of time with whatever little experience I've gained, whatever little things I've learned. I have
Mm-hmm.
somewhere down the line trained my mind in a way now that I wake up every morning and tell myself that I'll be able to do what I want to. I'll be able to achieve the dreams, or I'll be able to accomplish the goals which I have in my list.
Mm-hmm.
And I also make sure I tell myself that I'm doing great. I
Mm-hmm.
think I firmly believe on this, that you have to be your own biggest fan,
Mm-hmm.
because until and unless you push yourself, you praise yourself, you won't be able to, you won't be able to cross the line.
Mm-hmm.
So, to be able to work in the direction which I have planned for myself, irrespective of the fact whether I reach my final destination or not, is a different ball game altogether. But
Mm-hmm.
just to be able to work in the direction which I have planned for myself is success for me.
So again, the path, the journey that you are taking, that is success. Goal,
Yes,
destination, you will definitely reach someday, but the path and every single day, that small
yes,
successes that you have, that is success for you. Okay.
yes.
Then then define happiness.
Happiness is more or less a continuation of what is success for me, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to enjoy the process. As I said, I simply want to, enjoy the process, the little things which happen over a period of time in my journey towards my ultimate goal.
Mm-hmm.
So, what makes me truly happy is, being the better version of what I was yesterday,
Wow.
because you can lie to the entire world. You can make a face. You can lie to the entire world, but you cannot lie to yourself. You will always know whether you've given it your best or not.
So
So
true.
every single day I ask myself whether I've done it or whether I haven't done it. If I am satisfied with myself, that makes me truly happy.
That's a beautiful line that you have said, that you can lie to everyone, but you can't lie to yourself. You know whether
Yes,
you have given your 100%. You know that you could have worked a little more or not, and you know that you have done the best that you can. So that is
definitely.
one very very beautiful thing that you have said. Now, since you are balancing both, I want to
Hmm.
know, definitely there must be some incident where people have questioned your choice. Like if you are a doctor, why do you have a YouTube channel? And if you are on the channel, why do you continue appearing for your exams and getting your degree?
Yes. Uh, Ma'am, this was a dream. So, as I said, I realized it a bit later that I have to do something towards it. And
Mhm.
now, coming to the societal pressures, it is always going to be there no matter what you do. Even if I was just pursuing medicine, people were going to judge me for some or the other reason. I won't
Mhm.
even say they will, they would have judged me. They would have always had their own share of opinions. And everybody does. I am not criticizing anybody for that. Everybody has their own way of thinking, and they might be right at their place. So
Mhm.
initially, yes, there were people who said कि क्या कर रहा है ये सब बकवास है, don't do all these things. There were people, I won't lie, there were definitely there still are people who do this. So
Mhm.
initially it affected me. It
Mhm.
affected me, and what I tried was, I tried to answer them. I try answer them in the sense, I tried to make sure that I do something, which makes them feel कि यार, no, whatever he's doing is right. But
Okay.
then over a period of time, I realized that this was simply wasting my time. I was simply wasting my time and energy over something and someone which really didn't matter to me.
Mhm.
If I would have utilized that amount of energy in probably what I was actually doing, I could have done a lot better. So
Mhm.
over a period of time, I just sidelined all those thoughts. I just, I used to take it, whatever people say, I used to hear it and I did not react to anything. I
Mm-hmm.
just made sure that I was following the path which I had decided for myself. And
Mm-hmm.
as I said in the beginning as well, people will always have something to say. It is up to all of us, how much we let it affect us.
Mm-hmm. I don't, I'm not sure whether you remember this or not. What I used to tell you in school is that, you know, criticism or someone judging you is like fiction. If there is no fiction around, we can't walk. So people coming
Right.
and telling up to you that what you're doing is not correct, in some way, you know, it motivates you to work better. And
Yes.
you know, you get a clarity that yes, I'm passionate about it, and I'll continue doing it. A little
Hmm.
amount of that sort of criticism is good.
Health.
It's
Yes.
help,
Yes.
it's help.
Yes.
So you
Definitely.
can go along with this. Now, you have been speaking to different sports personalities. Okay?
Yes.
What have you learned from them?
Ma'am, I've learned a lot. I'll give you an example. A couple of years before, I went to interview Wasim Jaffer, who's a legend in India's domestic cricket, and he's also
Mhm,
played 32 tests and a couple of one-day internationals for the Indian team. So he
mhm,
was 40 years old at that point. And I
mhm,
asked him, Wasim bhai, 40 years of age, you've already played more than 20 years, 18,000 first-class runs, probably
mhm,
achieved everything you could do in your cricketing career. But what keeps you going?
mhm,
And this is what he tells me, that he simply cannot imagine his life without cricket. He says it's the love for the game that just keeps on pushing him. And
mhm,
more than anything else, he tells me that what made him satisfied was to see the youngsters around him do well. So
mhm,
it was, and there I was like, after the interview, I was thinking, this man who has achieved almost everything at 40
mhm,
years of age, when there
mhm,
is no possible incentive for him, he was sure that he was not going to play for India once again. And he
mhm,
was he was happy with, to see people around him doing well. And he was so passionate for the game. He had the
mhm,
love for the game,
mhm,
and that inspired me a lot. And not only Wasim Jaffer, but I have interviewed a lot of domestic cricketers, because we
mhm.
all know the journeys of all the international stars, but at times, there are a lot of journeys of domestic cricketers which don't get a lot of
Don't.
limelight.
Mhm. So
So
true. So
I,
true.
I have met them, and I know a lot of them, who have been doing consistently well over a long period of time, but
Mhm,
somehow they have still not been able to make it to the Indian team, whatever be the
mhm,
reason.
mhm,
But they have never really walked down, and I'm literally shocked. I ask them every single time, what keeps you going? Because age is not on your side. You're not
mhm,
getting selected no matter what you do.
mhm,
So sport in general, or sports person in general, have taught me that it isn't about winning every single time. You'll
mhm,
definitely lose, but how you
mhm,
come back, the hunger which you have within,
mhm,
that is extremely important.
mhm,
Because you might be a Sachin Tendulkar or Virat Kohli, Tiger Woods or Roger Federer. Every single
mhm,
individual has a bad day on the field or a bad phase in
mhm,
their life, but
mhm,
that doesn't mean that it is the end of the world. So meeting all these, knowing their stories, has been one inspiring experience for me.
mhm. You had a lovely time knowing yourself and getting inspired by these people. Yes, definitely, Indian team has only so many places, and India
Yes.
being the country that it is, everyone loves cricket. So we have a lot of youngsters who have that dream in their eyes that they want to learn cricket and represent India, and it's a very tough job. So for
Yeah.
every one Virat Kohli, there must be some hundreds of people, hundreds of players who have tried their level best and they could not crack and they could not go on to become the
Correct.
legend that they wanted to have. It's not that they have any less passion, but life
Right.
is like that. You always
Yes.
don't go to the top. Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
the journey is. One thing that I can definitely tell you after talking to you, whenever you are doing something which you are passionate about, which you love, then
Yes.
even the hard work doesn't seem like hard work. Today,
Yes.
you are in a field that is medicine, one of the toughest thing to do. The books, the
Hmm.
size of the books, the exams and amount of cramming to be done, it's a very, and of course, another very important point we forget, doctors mentally have to become very strong, which
Tough.
is
Yes.
because you have to deal with human beings. When you are even in the third year or fourth year, when you have clinics and you see someone dying, for that matter, even in the first year itself, anatomy, like
Hmm.
you cannot imagine what the child undergoes in that tender age when he sees a dead body in front of him. You know,
Hmm.
all the thought processes, that one single day when you enter for the section is the day your perspective changes forever. You know what is life.
For sure. For sure.
And anatomy, I think so, those bones, when you touch them, when you read about them, somewhere down, your whole perspective of being alive becomes heightened, because you know everyone has to reach that stage one day or the other.
Hmm.
So being a doctor is very draining on the mind. It's very taxing on the mind. It's not for everybody. It is very
Hmm.
tough. So being in that profession, so such a tough profession, you took time out to go and do something because you were very passionate about it. And you went on to continuously push its boundaries and do things, let it be
Hmm.
writing, let it be your YouTubes. And you are continuing just because of one thing, you love it. You love it and you are doing it.
Yeah.
What next? This is one question
Ma'am,
which everyone will ask you, what
one
next?
question which I get asked very frequently every place I go these days.
Hmm.
So till now, I've been able to strike off a fine balance on a tightrope where there is conventional on one side and unconventional on the other.
Hmm.
As I said in the beginning, this was a dream which I have now turned into a goal.
Hmm.
Because there's a very famous line from my idol Harsha Vogle sir who says that the moment you put a deadline on your dream, it becomes a goal. So
Hmm.
I have set a deadline towards my goal as well. That
Hmm.
it might happen, it might not happen. I'm not going to
Hmm.
over push myself towards it, but I have
Hmm.
set a deadline as well. So
Okay.
I have decided basically to give myself some time and see how I can go along in this field,
Hmm.
and then decide. I'm not shutting any of the options. I'm not shutting both the options completely as of
Hmm.
now.
Okay. Okay. So now, if some youngster is watching and they want to follow this path, what will be your advice to them?
Ma'am, the very first thing is, as you said, people are absolutely crazy about cricket in India. It is. I always feel that cricket is something which runs in our blood. So every second or third individual in our country wants to be in this field. I
Hmm.
get a lot of messages from youngsters these days on social media as to how you did it, how you interviewed these people. Because what happens is, from distance, this field appears extremely glamorous because you
Hmm.
are rubbing shoulders with the legends of the game. You're talking to
Hmm.
them. You're getting paid to watch something you love, and
Hmm.
therefore from distance it sounds, it looks like a fairy tale, but to be
Hmm.
honest, it isn't as easy. It is not a cakewalk as it appears to be.
Hmm. There's a
So
lot
the
of hard work.
only, yes, there is a lot of hard work, and again, in every other field there is a specific roadmap which you can take to go forward, but here there is no specific roadmap. There
Hmm.
is no specific degree as to if you do this degree eventually you go on to become a commentator or presenter.
Hmm.
So the only advice I would have for all of them is, don't try and be in this field just for the sake that you want to appear on TV, or you want
Hmm.
to call yourself a celebrity. That's not
Hmm.
going to happen. All these are the byproducts of it, which might happen eventually. But
Hmm.
do it if you are extremely passionate, and there are a lot of things which come along with it. You need to embrace them. You need to be sure that you are ready to bear them, because first of all, first and foremost comes the financial stability part.
Hmm.
Because if you want to get into this field, I'll be very honest, for a beginning, this field does not give you that financial stability which you
Hmm.
will want in your life. Because the
Hmm.
very first time I wrote an article, I got paid for it. I got 80 rupees. I had spent around 2 hours brainstorming over it, then writing in an 80 rupees for that article. So you
Hmm.
need to accept the things which come along with it. And
Hmm.
therefore, if your only thought process is, I want to be a celebrity, or I want to earn money, I want to talk with the legends of the game, then this won't work. You need to accept whatever comes along with it. You need to be ready to work hard. And there are a lot of things, as in, if you are doing a video, if you're talking to some cricketer, you are talking to legends. So in a
Hmm.
split second, they know whether you belong to this field or you don't belong to this field. They know it in a
Hmm.
split second.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, be very good on your words, on your communication skills. You
Mm-hmm.
have to think in your mind even before you speak, and that isn't easy. It
Mm-hmm.
takes time. It takes
Mm-hmm.
time. Facing the camera is not a very simple thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it happens gradually over a period of time. But the simple piece of advice is, don't get into this field just because you want to appear on the TV. If you
Mm-hmm.
are really passionate, if first of all, understand the things which will come alongside when you go in this journey, whether you are ready to accept it, and that is when you can eventually decide
Mm-hmm.
to get into this field.
Yeah. So what basically this is that it's not a conventional field. So you
Yes.
don't like after 4 years of being a medical student, you become a doctor.
Yeah.
Here, nothing of that roadmap is there. You can become, but that needs a lot of hustle, lot of hard work. And
Yes.
when you're doing that, financial stability is one factor which you need to think about, because here you may or may not get. You
May
may
or may
get
not.
something. Second thing is that you need to be extremely good in what you are doing. If you are
Yes.
extremely good, if you are willing to work hard, then you have a place where you can go, because the people who are sitting on top, they can judge you very quickly. If you are fake
Yes.
or you are pretending to know and actually you don't, they will catch you there.
Correct.
So you need
Correct.
to be very passionate, you need to be very sure of where you're going, and you need to have the required dedication and skills to reach
Hmm.
there, work very hard. And then
Right.
you can see where the path takes you. Financial security is not so much there, but you can
Hmm.
give it a try and see where it
Yeah.
goes. And you can also uh, be trying to do that with 100% dedication, or you may have something else with you. Along with that, you can continue doing this and
Correct.
see how it goes. Both the options are open for you, but you need to take a call
Yes.
and you need to go. So it was,
So it's
yes,
about
continue.
taking calculated risks, ma'am. You
Calculated
need to
risk.
take risk in life,
Mhm.
but the risk have to be calculated as well.
Mhm. It has to be a calculated risk, and then you can
Yes.
go on. Yes. So, Yash, it is so wonderful speaking to you, because I know Yash from when he was a very, very little boy, and his
Yes.
enthusiasm from that time to now has been the same. He loved to speak then, and he loves to speak now too. So, it was wonderful having you on my show, Yash. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
being
much,
here.
ma'am.